Hey guys, it's Katy at scrappinkaty.ctmh.com, and we are on day 13 of the 31 Days of Christmas Cards, a YouTube collab brought to you by the Creative Design Team. Now, every Tuesday, it's my day to post a brand new Christmas card, so let's take a look at what I have to share today. So I have a package of memory protectors, and these are our 3x4 flip flaps. I also have a standard card base and envelope, and then our Picture My Life cards with the Comfort and Joy collection. Now they come with 3x4 and 4x6 cards. And then I also have some Stickles Glitter Gel. Now this one's the Solar Flare, and you can find these in our core catalog, and you'll see them here. Now currently we only have the Nebula, but I'm going to be using Solar Flare and show you what you can do with these. Now, this little jar does not do this gel justice. Just by looking at it, you may think, oh, that's just regular stuff. But stay tuned. I am going to ooh and awe you with what I have to share. You'll also need some sort of spatula and some really strong score tape. And then I've also pulled out some M-size stamp sets. Now, what I love about the M-size stamp sets is they are only $3.95 US. And so that's perfect for cards and layouts. I also have some Comfort and Joy patterned paper scraps to use. So I'm going to pull out these Picture My Life cards. Now this is the equivalent of pocket scrapbooking, but as you can see with this project, you can definitely use it on cards. I knew I wanted a 3x4, so I pulled out a couple and I've decided to use that Noel. Now our 3x4 flip flaps come with a flap on the short side and the long side, and I've pulled out a flap with the short side. And then I'm going to pull out my really strong score tape. Now these flip flaps are meant for you to put a picture in, or those Picture My Life cards, and flip it open and see another photo. So I've just torn some of that score tape and I'm going to fiddle with it just a little bit here and get it on the inside of this pocket. Now I'm going to have to tear some off and then cut some others, but I really wanted this to go edge to edge, and that's why I tore it just a little bit longer than what I needed. So I've got that score tape down, but you can see that I have not taken off the film. Now I'm going to open this glitter gel. It is somewhat messy. And then you can see it kind of resembles slime. So I'm going to give it a little stir and then pick some up with my spatula. Now, I did not need this much. So if you are making this alongside me, you want a little bit less than what I used. And then you're just going to kind of smooth this around, trying not to get it oozing out of the top. And then once you kind of have it all around that flip flap, you are going to take off that little backing of that score tape or that strong adhesive. And then you are going to just close that pocket up. You want to make sure there's no air in your flip flap. So I've closed that up, and then I'm just going to smooth it all out, kind of even it out. And you can see here that you can see through it. Isn't that the coolest thing? So right here, I am going to try to position this flip flap in the center of the card. Now, I do not want to glue down that 3x4 just yet. So I am going to just center that flip flap and make sure that that's good and secure. And then I'm going to pull out some ribbon. Now, the spot where I put that score tape, because nothing can get past that, there is a little space, and I just want to hide that. You could definitely use either a zip strip or a piece of pattern paper, but I decided to use some ribbon, and this ribbon can be found in the online only section of my website. And now I want to back that 3x4 card with some pattern paper from the Comfort and Joy. And the reason being is that that flip flap is just a little bit larger than 3x4. So I've cut my pattern paper to 3 3/8 by 4 3/8. And now I'm just going to adhere that down to the center of my card. And I am kind of using the flip flap as a guide, but when you flip it open, I do want that to be centered on the card base. So I'm happy with that, and now I want to have some little focal piece down in that bottom right corner. So I've pulled out the Comfort and Joy scrapbooking stamp set. Now the stamp set does come with thin cuts, and as you can see there, I kind of like to thin cut or cut a whole bunch of images when I first get my stamp, and that way it just kind of aids in creating, and when I want one, I don't have to stop the momentum to go cut it, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to line this thin, the leaves are a little thinner, and it's meant to be the greenery of the poinsettia, and you definitely could make more layers, but I'm just going to make a 2-layer poinsettia. And then this larger one actually is the leaves, and you'll see right here when I stamp this off using that scarlet ink how you can see where the leaves come into play. So I'm really liking that down in that bottom right. Now I am going to kind of play with some foliage here and kind of curve those leaves over to add some dimension. And keep in mind that this is pretty basic, but I want you to hang out because I'm going to show you the card that was my prototype. You know, I had to make sure that that glitter gel would dry and not ooze out, and kind of see how it would dry, if it would even dry. So make sure you stick around to check out the card that I made to kind of test that out. Now, so for the inside of the card, I am using an M-size stamp set that I showed you earlier, and this one says Merry Christmas. And I'm going to pull out 3 ink colors, the avocado, the evergreen, and then that scarlet again. So I'm going to create kind of an ombre look. And so this image has foliage down at the bottom and at the top of the sentiment. So I've inked that up in avocado and then just the edges in evergreen. And now I am sponging that scarlet ink in the middle. And I love kind of that ombre look to kind of add all of those colors that you get on the inside. So I tried to doodle around the edge and it just wasn't working. So I went ahead and I am using one of the rectangular thin cuts that I've cut using that holly paper from the Comfort and Joy. And I'm definitely loving that look instead of all that white. So I'm happy with that flower. I'm going to use some glue dots to adhere that to the flip flap. Now keep in mind that whatever goes on the front of this flip flap, depending on how much sticker gel or stickle gel you have in there, you can see the back side. So glue dots, any clear glue liquid is probably best. You don't want to use 3D foam tape, anything that you can see from that other side. So right here, I'm just adding some clear shimmer brush, and then I'm going to pull out the goldenrod stickles, and I'm just going to add little bitty dots in the center of this poinsettia to resemble that center. So here is my card finished. You can flip that open to see the Noel, and then you can open it to see the Merry Christmas and write your sentiment. Now here is a 5x7 card that I made as my prototype. This one differs a little bit in that the flap is the opening. So that card doesn't open anymore. So I just took a plain 5x7 base, and then that flip flap is adhered to the back of that base. And you can see where I didn't use that much glitter gel on that one, and I just love that iridescent kind of clear transparent look. So keep in mind that we are going all month long with these 31 days of Christmas cards. And here is the list. Again, I post every Tuesday. And then tomorrow, Miss Carrie from Miss Carrie's Creation will post her wonderful Christmas card project. So you want to check back with her channel if you haven't already done so. Subscribe to mine and sign up for notifications. And go ahead and visit Carrie and sign up for notifications on her channel as well.